Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure and honor to welcome you all once again to another fantastic edition of The Hello Show. Hello, I love you, won't you tell me your name? Hello, I love you, let me jump in your game. Hello, I love you, won't you tell me your name? Hello, I love you, let me jump in your game.
Thank you very much.
There you go.
Thank you, Indy. My name is Mark Isitt. This is the Hello Show, and it's broadcast from the Stockholm Furniture Fair every day during this 2011 edition of the fair. And we ask ourselves two questions up here. What is the recipe for a successful meeting, and how will meetings change in the future? And we do so, we give the answers by asking architects, designers, scientists, gardeners, gymnastic teachers, everybody we can find almost who have meetings. Today we are going to discuss interior branding, and we're going to investigate how one can communicate a company's philosophy and personality through design. And to help us are three people. We will meet Ulrika Kjellström Attar, who is the branding manager of Scandic Hotels, the largest hotel chain in the Nordic region. But before we talk to her, we are meeting two guys. These two guys are the guys you turn to when your company profile needs a brush up, when the company has kind of lost track of its soul. But before we do that, I'm going to put Indy to the test.
Okay.
Because yesterday I was rather bad towards Indy. The song he played in the beginning here is a song by The Doors. It's called Hello, I Love You, Won't You Tell Me Your Name?
Because it's the Hello Show.
Because it's the Hello Show. And then I said to Indy, yeah, well, that's a good intro, but couldn't you play the intro to the most famous Doors song, which is Like My Fire, which is an incredibly tricky intro.
No, I just never learned it. I mean, really tricky, very tricky, since I've now learned it. So
And he promised that he would learn it
tricky.
before today. So, Indy,
You want me to? Okay.
shoot.
Okay. Hold on to your hats. Let me do that again. I gotta get the last note, right? Okay, I got it that time.
Ah, very good.
Wait, do I have to do a verse now? I can do like, it's time to hesitate is through. Wait, can this be the indie show instead of the Hello Show? I can talk about meetings. I know a lot. Okay, never mind. Back to you, Mark.
Thank you. So, let's bring up the first two guests. They worked with Philippa K. They've worked with Securitas. They've even worked with the mining giant LKAB. Kristoffer Norman and Anders Rinman from Essen Brand Agency. Welcome, Kristoffer.
Thank you very much.
Have a seat.
Thank you.
Anders,
Thank you.
welcome. How are you?
Fine. Thank you.
Good.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Very well. Thank you.
Good. You do what? You've got different positions within the company.
Yes, we work at a branding agency called Essen International. I work as a brand strategist, and Anders.
I'm a design strategist. So I work with the design questions, and we work together in a team, of course, from the beginning to the end. But my specialty is the design, how to develop the core value of the company into design in the end.
You analyze the company.
Yeah, we do a diagnose of the company,
like a doctor,
and
on
try
a
to find out what health status they're in. And sometimes they're in a very bad health status, and we have to help them from the beginning, and sometimes they just need to shape up a little bit.
Okay.
And
Essen is not a young company, is it? It's been around for quite some time.
No, it was founded in 1991, and back at those days, branding was not a very heard of profession.
No.
Back then, it was a design company, so that's the background. And then, as things develop, you do also other things, broader things. So now we work. The people that work at Essen are brand strategists, brand designers, copywriters, and brand lawyers.
Okay. And can I interrupt? Who does the analysis of Essen? Who's the brand agency for the brand Essen?
That's a very good question, and that's always, the big thing with consulting companies, that they are very bad at doing their own, working and examining themselves. But we actually did that this autumn during an event we had,
Okay.
where we looked at our own physical environment, because that's why we're here today to talk about the physical environment.
You are obviously doing something right, because you're in quite huge demand, I've understood it as. And why do you think that is? Don't go bragging, but please tell us about the times. What is it at this very moment in time that makes brand agencies attractive to use?
Okay, one question to that is that we see a much more competitive landscape, and the companies have understood that they can see that the companies that challenged their own brand and worked with that 10 years ago today are ahead of others. That is one thing. And to work with strategies that is not just in short-term investment, that is in long-term investment, will in the end pay off. And I would say for 10 years ago, branding was a profession that not many people knew what it was about. Today, it's common sense to everybody. Or not everybody, but many people.
It will be common sense to all you when you leave this show.
Exactly as Anders say. Back in the 80s, it was all about advertising and commercials. So branding was very small. But as times rolled on, it became much more of an important question, and a question for management, because everything builds brands. Everything we do, everything. The way we act, the way we speak, everything is building the brand.
It was much more an external thing, looking at commercials and so on, rather than an internal.
Yeah, that's the thing that we see now, because for every business there's of course a core, a brand idea that is the thing that it all comes down to, and which gives you power and a direction. With that, based and set, you have to activate your brand, and you do that in very different ways and different channels and areas.
Okay.
One of these areas are, of course, interiors.
Could we have a look at some pictures? I know that you brought some.
Yes. It's this one, right?
Yeah.
See if it works. That's the logotype of our branding agency, Essen. We'll skip that one. Okay, this is a model of reality, we could say, but it's a model, so it's quite boring. That's why we made it pink. It's more fun, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So in the core of everything is the brand idea, something that is unique and that can drive your company towards the vision of the company. It could be a brand idea, it could be a brand promise. It's about the values of the company. This model explains that there are 4 main areas where you can then activate your brand. It's of course communication, external communication, as we've spoken about. Back in the 80s, it was all about advertising. It still is for many companies and should be. We have also the product, of course. That's a very important channel for building a brand. Example, we spoke about Philippa K is one of our customers. The product is very, very important for building the brand. We also have, the staff, the people that works at the company. Securitas is an example. where the guards, the security guards, is the main channel for building the brand. That's where the brand is visualized. And then we have interior environments, interiors. And so far they've been focused on external interiors, that is, shops and environments where the customer is the main target group. But what we see is getting more important is, of course, internal environments. Environments where people working at the company spend their days and their time.
Did you have an image of that as well? Ooh, nice, cozy.
Yeah, this is one of the images that really challenged us, and as Christopher said, many of the efforts has been done in the retail area or customer related areas, but instead of looking at the external perspective, looking at the internal perspective, you could look at one of those images and you could ask yourself, have you ever walked into an office through a reception or through the corridors of the company and ask yourself, what is it that this company is doing? What is their service? What is their product? And could you tell by looking around in the environment, and could you tell what values they want to communicate, what special unique qualities that this company has? Could you tell that by the interior? And we figured out that there are so many workplace environment that is not loaded with the values that are unique to the companies. And there are so many perspectives of interest in this to do that, to find out, as I said, the unique qualities, the goals, where are we heading? What is it that we're doing here instead? What is it that differentiates us from other companies?
Those are the questions that you ask.
Yeah, yeah, and a lot of companies, they promise a lot. If you go to their website or other media channels where they present their company, they tell you about their values, they tell you about their promises, they tell you about their goals and visions. And you come to the company and you get attracted and you get a feeling, I want to go there. I'm interested in working there because it seems like they're really a creative and it must be a fun place to work at. And you end up in an environment like this. That means it creates a huge gap in between what their promise is and what you actually get when you get there. This really made us interested in this question of working and taking further steps when it comes to the workplace area.
Show us an example of what it might look like.
Well, this is a picture from the event that we did this fall. We have to, before starting working with real companies, we need to try on ourselves, right? We need to challenge ourselves.
So this is Essen's office.
This is Essen's office, some pictures of it after we redesigned the interiors. So we have some examples. For example, the picture to the left in the center is a huge pile of boxes. Those pile of boxes is it's one for each member of Essen, where we have our little business card and something that tells us about each person. So that's something for ourselves to see something that tells more about each individual at the company, but also a very nice thing to have when you have clients visiting.
And you've got a lavatory there with things dotted on the wall.
Yes, we have. That's just an accident. No, it's not. It's, you have to speak up, you have to be honest.
Okay.
You could scream things in the corridor, but you might also scream things on the walls of a toilet.
Okay. The boss is absolutely lousy.
Exactly.
Okay. Has anyone written that?
Not me, no.
No, it wasn't you.
No.
Was it you?
I haven't done anything.
Okay, next image, please.
Now, really, can I just add something to this question here, to these images here? What I wanted to say is that we have to learn we have to live as we learn, and we asked ourselves: are we communicating what we're doing at our office, is this equal to the core values that we have? So we sort of put the diagnosis on ourselves and ask ourselves, is this really representing Essen?
And
What we ended up with here is that we have a beautiful office. I'm not bragging, but it must be one of Stockholm's most beautiful offices. We have a view over the whole city. But it was kind of anonymous. There was something missing there. We didn't really have the personality of Essen. So we added these different qualities that we expect that we ourselves will make a deeper understanding of what we sell for and the customer, that they understand what we're doing. So the toilet, for instance, is what we're trying to communicate that is tolerance. We're tolerant. We accept everybody to be able to put their little mark there and say whatever they want. Freedom of speech.
Please go on.
We'll go on. I let Anders continue talking here.
Yeah.
He's quite good at it.
This is images and the result of a work that we did for the largest security company, G4S. This was at the time when they were moving from their former office to the new office at Kungsholmen. And when they were doing this, we had been working with them and their new business model. And they've changed business model completely from being a traditional security company going towards a company that is more service-orientated and that the employees are expected to be more of a consultant that can deliver service, security service consultancy. And to communicate that to all the employees, this had to be communicated all through the whole office, not just through external communicative media or other traditional media through education, but also in the environment where people work.
And how do you do that here? What is an example of that?
The example of that, one of the central images is the map that shows their worldwide business and presents the company in a sort of subway manner where the organization is very rapid, very service-orientated, very quick, instead of the traditional map where you sort of present yourself, this is it, and we're taking over the world. So this is a more playful, more sort of an image that presents the company as a very service-orientated organization. And out of this map, we could use these small figures, the representation of the G4S good behavior or the service-orientated behavior, and they could be added all over the company. Very large applications, from very large applications to small signage applications, and this little twisted image of the traditional images of these small figures that you could find on toilets and showing information made a large impact.
To me, but I didn't see the office before. So, but to me, it verges on the cosmetic. Is that a risk when you do this, that it just becomes cosmetic? That's makeup?
Absolutely, that's a big risk, and that's not the point. You can't start in that end. You need to start with a brand idea. What's the brand idea, and what's the vision of the company? That must be the starting point when you do these kind of projects, because everything has to point in the same directions. The same direction. If you have smashing logotype. A culture within the company that's perfect, and you have a nice vision and a brand promise, and you have offices that look like shit, that points in a directly, different direction. You need to get everything to point.
Running in the right direction.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Let's put this theory to the test a bit. I've picked out a few companies that I regard as being highly successful. And I just wanted to hear your spontaneous reaction to these companies and see if your sense of their core value is the same as mine. Okay? And no long answers, Anders.
Sorry?
No long answers.
Okay, okay.
Okay?
Short one then.
Yep. Google.
Innovation.
Innovation.
Yeah. Taking over the world and improving it.
Short answers, Anders.
Sorry.
Oh, that was short enough. That was good.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
BMW.
It's about performance, driving performance.
Which means
You know, a performant company, that's the thing that everything is about when it comes to BMW. They do cars that perform, and they make the clients that buy the cars drive that performance.
okay. IKEA. Which is the company, according to surveys, 98% of Swedes have great faith in IKEA. I mean, I think about 40% have great faith in the king and queen.
It's about, you know, giving a richer and better life for a lot of people. A better everyday life.
A very democratic idea,
Yeah.
very Swedish idea.
Democracy.
Yeah. Scandic Hotels.
Well, is that up to us to answer?
Give it a try.
Homey feelings.
Homey feeling. What do you say, Christopher?
Comfort.
Homey feeling or comfort. Ulrika Kjellström Attar, please come up, the branding manager of Scandic Hotels. No, come on. Have a seat.
Thanks.
That's your glass if you want it.
Oops.
Oh, it's a bit like this, wriggly. So what did you think of that? Homey?
Yeah, a bit unexciting perhaps to be just homey. I don't know. I think we want to be more inspirational and more experiential. And homey as well. I mean, there is this old saying that home away from home, that a lot of hotel chain has that as their tagline.
Yeah.
And of course, we always have to create that feeling as well.
You really balance on a thin line, don't you, between its luxury and exclusiveness, and it's this almost IKEA-ish image, because my
Yes,
image of Scandic
we are
Hotels...
very democratic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's when I grew up, and probably all you too, that it was the motor hotel. It was not very exclusive. It was
No.
the hotel everyone could
Yeah, and
stay
it
in.
still is. I mean, it is for everybody. But we want, I mean, everybody wants to be inspired today. I think everybody is very into traveling, and the interest in hotels is huge. TripAdvisor has about 35 million members that are actually putting in their what they comments and about hotels that they have stayed in. So it's people are very concerned about and interested. Yeah.
Why is that?
I think, of course, there is this huge interest for traveling these days, and I think everybody wants to travel. And there's also a big interest in design, and there's also a big interest in hotels as destination. You kind of collect hotels. When you go to New York, you pick out the new hotel that you have read about in a magazine, perhaps. And it's part of the excitement of traveling nowadays. Before, it was more of a commodity. Unless you were in the premium, you were going to luxury hotels.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so Scandic felt that it was necessary to change from this very folksy, motel-ish...
Yeah, I mean, competition is fierce. We are the biggest chain in Scandinavia, but there are lots of hotels opening all the time. And we know that our clients have traveled to other places, stayed in other hotels, so they are also picky, and so of course we have to be with our time.
Yeah, and that was why you were brought in?
Yeah, I was brought in 1.5 years ago.
In order to do what exactly?
Working with the hotel experience and the design expression, and the hardware as well as the software. But of course, you kind of always start with the hardware. We start about 2 years before the hotel opens with the design concept and so forth.
Excuse me, but when you say hardware and software,
Yes, hardware is the hotel, the interior, the furniture.
yeah,
And then, of course, a big part of a hotel experience is the people who are working there
Yeah.
and how they take care of their guests.
what's the biggest issue there? What's most important, software or hardware?
Probably, I mean, the software is very, very important, and people tend to have their favorite hotels where they get recognized and they are seen as a friend almost. So it's probably around 50-50, I would say. But of course, the hardware should support the software, and there should be smartness to.
In surveys, what are the answers? If I was to ask the audience now, what do you think is the most important? I'll ask you now, software or hardware? Software, up with your hands. And hardware? Oh, it's pretty much the same, isn't it? It's 50-50.
Yeah.
Is that what the surveys say too?
Yeah, it's very important with people.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So what is it you're changing?
Well, as we are opening a lot of new hotels.
How many?
9 this coming year. So I'm working with 9 hotels currently, and we are looking at the individual location of the hotel, because we really have to. The competition is so fierce. So just opening another kind of bland hotel in a street where perhaps there are 10 other hotels, we won't have any guests. So we have to make it unique and targeted to someone. And perhaps what is new now for Scandic is that we dare to choose to say this hotel is perhaps targeted more towards a discerning guest who's well traveled and so forth, because this hotel is located in the middle of Stockholm, and we have to cater for that kind of more experienced guest.
What do you look at when you are about to open a hotel, or when you pick a place where the hotel is supposed to be?
Well, the location is very, very important. The
Yeah.
location is key, and I mean that's when we do our calculations. That's the most important factor: the location of the hotel and who will stay there. Are there any people around the hotel?
What about competition is also an issue, I suppose?
Yeah, but I mean, generally it's quite good to be near other hotels. Like Stureplan, there are many hotels, and another one can actually probably make it if they establish themselves there. And you don't have to be. It's not good to be alone either.
No.
No.
Is there any risk that you cannibalize on yourself?
Yeah, that's a big risk. So that's why we also have to carve out the concepts in order not to be like the other hotel that we have next door, perhaps, or 2 blocks away.
Can I ask you something? Have
Yeah.
you been to the Fox Hotel in Copenhagen?
No, I've only seen it
You've
in
heard
pictures.
of it?
Yeah.
Because we were there with Essen, with a company last weekend, and it's this fancy design hotel.
Yeah.
Where each room is individual and very designed. They have,
And it's quite a small hotel.
It is.
And reasonably cheap too.
Maybe. I haven't seen the bill. But the hotel and the rooms were quite worn down. The expectation from us was quite high because it's a design hotel, but they haven't done anything for the last 7 years, so they were quite worn down. And that's the thing, you make a promise, the brand makes a promise, gives a promise what you are and what people expect. And when they don't receive that, the image is cracked.
Okay. So the image of Fox Hotel is kind of tarnished.
It's not the same as the one I had before.
No.
And another funny thing about the hotel, talking about having the right address, because they have sort of a corner house where the main entrance is in an area which I think is called Vesterbro, which is an area where the red light district is and a lot of prostitutes. But now they're changing their main entrance just around the corner, and now they're in the center of Copenhagen. So location is very important.
Yeah, it's just a couple of meters that differs. Yeah. And what do you do when you talk to architects then? I mean, if you look at Anglais, for example, which is, I think, the hotel that I have, the Scandic hotel that I have been most surprised by.
Yeah.
It's not at all like walking into a conventional hotel. It's very much like walking into a, it's almost an office space.
An office space, a living room, a bar, a restaurant.
Yeah, a living room too, yes.
It's all in one, and I think the living room was the metaphor for that hotel.
Was that the brief to the
Yeah.
architect concept when they did it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that has been adopted very widely now in the hotel. Everybody talks about creating living rooms. But it's not that easy, actually. I mean, you can have that as a brief, but to actually have people and feel like it is a living room is not that easy.
No.
That you feel very comfortable, that everybody feels that they can work or have a meeting and socialize.
Couldn't you take us from the entrance door up to a room? Just explain what it is you see on the way. You grab the handle, and I suppose that handle is also important, what it's made out of or what it looks like, or
Yeah,
maybe you don't grab the
pretty
handle,
much
it's just
sliding doors.
sliding doors.
Yeah.
Much better, is it, than opening a door yourself?
Yeah, I think with
Easy access.
with big hotels, you need sliding doors.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
or a revolving door.
What happens next?
In general, you want to be able to see the reception quite soon when you walk in through the door, and also you want to see people. You want to feel that there is some social action going on. We don't want those wide spaces, empty spaces, when you like walk on a marble floor up to the reception. You feel kind of intimidated, and then you walk perhaps past a breakfast room that is empty on your way to the elevators. We want to have an atmosphere that signals that there is life going on in our hotels.
And what about the elevators?
The elevators, not much to say. They're quite functional. Have to be very clear about, we have the sign when the breakfast is served. Of course, you can do that in a more inspirational and exciting way. And then when you go through the corridors, it's also, we believe in kind of bright corridors for our hotels.
What does that signal?
Safety and, that it's kind of clean and functional and
Okay.
not kind of a nightclubby feeling.
And then
in
you
the
enter
corridors.
then you enter the rooms.
And then you enter the rooms, and you have to be able to feel that it's a nice, warm welcome when you open the room, of course. That it's clean. That is very, very important, of course. And most people, when they come to the hotel, they look at the bed and see that it feels clean, and then they turn on the telly and they go into the bathroom and look, are there any nice amenities? Is it a bathroom perhaps, and is it clean? So, I mean, you have to just make sure that all those points are up to standard. But then, of course, we work with the feeling that it should be a really kind of inspirational, and that you are excited about the room. Perhaps you've seen some design features or some smart innovations that you want to bring home to your house, and
Get a bit inspired.
Get a bit inspired.
You are planning a new hotel, and I know you brought some pictures too. Could we run through them rather quickly?
Sure. Where is the...
Pass you the control.
So this is a hotel in central Stockholm that will open in October. It's called the Grand Central, and it's inspired by the urban city and its people, Stockholm and other big cities. And here we have a part of the lobby and lounge, and you see the reception at the back, and also these kind of very generous seating lounge areas where you can eat, you can work. We always have free internet in all areas of the hotel. And you can have a drink, you can have a meeting, or just be by yourself. When you walk, this is the Vista Bar, which will be also on the balcony above you. You see a part of the more comfy bar. That will be a music bar where we will have live performances, because we want to have this really social atmosphere in this hotel.
It's an interesting carpet.
Yeah, it's not a carpet, it's a stone floor.
Ah, all right.
Yeah.
If it had been a carpet, you know what I would have thought about? Do you know? Can you spot the reference? Patterned carpet in a hotel. a three-wheel bicycle with a little boy on it.
Yeah.
Shining.
The Shining, yeah.
The Shining, yeah.
The-
But this is a stone floor, so you were
This
saved
is
by
yeah,
that.
yeah. And when you go up to on the little balcony, this is the bar, acoustic bar, where we will have music. Very kind of low seating and comfy. The bistro, the restaurant, have really big windows. So from the street, you will see what's going on inside. And the more intimate part of the restaurant. Very classical, but still with a very modern twist.
Is this
And,
hotel located at Kungsbron or Kungsgatan?
Yeah, it's located in Kungsgatan, Vasagatan, in a building from 1885. So we wanted to keep the character of the building, but still make it very contemporary. And
Because in the building next to it, we have our office, so we're neighbors. sort
oh,
of.
really?
When do you open?
October sometime.
October. Okay.
We'll come down and do a diagnose of
Yeah.
the hotel when it's done.
I expect you to be there after work every day, having drinks and.
That's nice.
And this is the room. We work a lot with panels to get that kind of very warm feeling, and art put just on the panel.
The art is a chapter in itself, isn't it?
I know hotel art could be really awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of the times it is.
So how do you avoid that?
Just working through. I mean, really, by working with it seriously, taking it as a serious part of the room that we really have to not just do at the end because we haven't thought of it before. We have already, worked on the art concept
Okay.
for this hotel. And
What is the art concept for this hotel? What would you
well,
say?
it will be some photographic art.
Yeah.
There will be a lot of graphic design. Actually, we will work a lot with statements on the walls and
Okay,
so forth,
okay.
because there will be like a dialogue with the guests, and yeah,
And with the people working there as well, right?
yeah,
The staff.
yeah. We will actually make our own graphic design for this hotel as far as menus and that kind of applications. Yeah.
Anders, when you see this, what is your impression?
When I see this, I'm
Please,
missing the graphic design.
A
part.
diagnosis immediately. Straight off.
The diagnosis of this is that I would say it looks very clean. It looks ambitious. It looks like it's someone that's been engaged doing this. I would say the health status is that someone wants to say something, and that's very important. It's not anonymous. It's got some personality, and it's not like every other hotel room we've seen. Then the next question is, what is it that they want to say? Well, do you want to go for that, Christopher? No, but really, I mean, it's got a personality, and I think that's important. And it's got that quality. It's not the every other hotel room.
No.
And it's interesting talking about hardware and software, because what it all comes down to is software. It's about the people that stays there and lives there, and the people that works there. That's very important to remember in all of this when we talk about branding and designing interiors. It's about the people, right?
How do you work with architects? Is it concept architects here as well?
This project is concept.
A Stockholm-based architectural practice. Are they involved from the very beginning, or is it a competition, or?
In this case, they were involved in the very beginning when we were looking at the property. Yeah.
Do you ever have architectural competitions?
Yeah, we have, but I believe more in actually perhaps choosing the one that you want to work with, because you kind of know deep down inside who is the best one for this property, who would be the best one. You kind of feel that.
Yeah, that's part of your job
I
know.
believe in very close cooperations where you leave all the prestige behind and you just kind of work together really closely.
What does a good architect bring in such a project?
they bring a lot. Well, a good architect brings more than just interior design. I mean, they start in a broader sense and pictures the guest and how should the guest feel when they walk in through the door and on all that kind of thinking. And I mean, we pretty much nailed this concept from the first meeting. I mean, we've done minor adjustments, but very small ones. So it's a dialogue that's very alive.
What has the motto been for that hotel? Is there one tagline that you've worked against all the time?
Urban theater.
Urban theater.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much for that, Ulrika Kjellström Attar. And thank you, Kristoffer Norman and Anders Rinman from Essen Brand Agency. And thank you for listening.
Thanks.
She's walking down the street, blind to every eye she meets. Do you think you'll be the guy to make the queen of the angels sigh? Hello, I love you, won't you tell me your name? Hello, I love you, let me jump in your game. Hello, I love you, won't you tell me your name? Hello, I love you, let me jump in your